percaya diri, cintakulah yang sejati, karena kau tak lihat. Terkadang malaikat tak bersayap, tak cemerlang, tak rupawan. Namun kasih ini silakan kau adu. Malaikat juga tahu siapa yang jadi juaranya. Kau selalu meminta, terus kau temani. Kau selalu bercanda, andai wajahku diganti. Karena tak sanggup sendiri. Karena kau tak lihat. Terkadang malaikat tak bersayap, tak cemerlang, tak rupawan. Namun kasih ini silakan kau adu. Malaikat juga tahu siapa yang jadi juaranya.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Agatha, and I'll be the moderator for today's conference. And then, first of all, I would like to thanks to all presenter and participants who attending this conference. And then, before we start the presentation, I would like to inform you that there will be 3 presenters for today's conference. The first one is Kezia, the next one is Kenigo, and then the last but not least is Ilham. So the conference will be divided into 2 sections, 20 minutes for the presentation, and then next we will continue to 20 minutes for the question and answer. In the question and answer section, the judges will first deliver their question and then followed by the other question for the audiences. For the audiences, you may raise your hand and then turn on the feature in Zoom before deliver your question, or write it in the chat section. And then the presenter will answer the question right away. So without any further ado, I will welcome our first presenter, Kezia from Universitas Sanata Dharma, to deliver her case about the Indonesian subtitling on Netflix in Certain Woman movie, a study of strategies and equivalent. Kezia, the floor is yours.
Sorry guys, wait. Okay. Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so good morning everyone. I am Kezia and I will present about my paper about strategies applied in Indonesian subtitling in certain woman movie on Netflix. So translation is defined as replacement of textual material in one language, which is source language, by equivalent textual material in another language. Or it's also transferring information or an idea from the source language into the target language. And the second definition is a streaming platform. It's a on-demand online entertainment, mostly for TV shows or movies, and you can watch it anywhere, anytime on any electronic devices that you have that is provide those streaming platforms, which, as we know, we heard it familiar, like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, Vimeo, and etc. The next is subtitling. It is stated by Kotlib that it's an amphibian. It flows with the current speech and defining the pace of reception. Next is the methodology. The first is the research question. So the research questions here is what strategies are applied in the Indonesian subtitling of certain women movie. So the next object of the study is the certain woman movies actors utterances, and the object of the study is categorized as multimedia translation. As explained by Jenny Williams, it is this research multimedia translation object is set analyzing source text and target text of a movie subtitle. The next is methods of the study. Here, this research applied two methods. The first is qualitative methods, which the data are collected and categorized into certain group um, based on the theory that are applied, which is uh, this translating strategies by Gottlieb. Um, According to George, qualitative explained as designates any research whose, whose results are captured in words, image, or non-numeric symbols. And the second method of the study is the expert opinion and theory in analyzing the data are used in this research. So this research is applying library research, which is elaborated as identifying and locating sources that provide factual information or personal expert opinion on a research question. And as I mentioned before, the types of the data here is utterances taken from the actress's utterances. In certain woman movie, they are Laura Wells, Kristen Stewart, and Gina Lewis. This is how I collected data. First, I read the script in both languages, English and Indonesian, and then I collected the data in both texts and divide them into source text and target text. And then I analyze and categorize the data using the Gottlieb and strategies, subtitling strategies. And then I make conclusion from the data that I already analyzed. So here is the first subtitling strategies proposed by Gottlieb. The first is expansion. It is used when the dialogue in the source language requires more explanation to acquire the comprehension of the source of the audience, and it happens because the cultural nuance of the source language is not retrievable. And the second strategy is paraphrase. It is used when the original phrase cannot be reconstructed in the same syntactic way in the target language. So it means that the translation in the original language or the target language will have different syntax with the source language, but the audience still can get the message or the comprehension of the and the meaning of the source text. The third strategy is transfer, which you define as full expression, translating the source language completely and correctly into the target language without adding or deleting any word. The fourth is imitation, which defined as identical expression. It translates proper nouns such as product brands, names, book titles, places, countries, etc. The fifth strategy is transcription. It's used in some case where unusual term exists, even in the source language. For example, if there's a third language or nonsense language like gibberish, language used in the source language. And then the sixth strategy is dislocation. It's different expression used when the source language employs some sort of special effect. For example, a silly song in a cartoon film. The next strategy is condensation. It is used when there is a problem of limitation in subtitle lines. The strategy used to condense the expression to solve the problem of limitation of subtitle lines. It's also create efficiency and eliminating the redundancies. The next is decimation. It's uh, applied when there's an extreme form. It omits important element, which makes the audience confused, and like some taboo words such as when there's quarreling scene. The character or the decimation will use when the actor like talking too fast. The next is deletion. It's a omitted expression. It refers to dealing with the total elimination of the parts of the text, like repetition and question tags. And the last is resignation. It's a definite expression applied when the translator does not found the solution in translating subtitle. Like the meaning is inevitably lost. So this is how I code my data. Uh, the number one is the number of the data, and then ST is for the source text, which is English subtitle, and then TT is the Indonesian subtitle, and then 6:10 until 6:13 is the duration. And this is the result of the analysis. So these are the strategies that I found in my data, which is 5 out of 10 strategies. They are transportation, paraphrase, imitation, and condensation. The most used strategy here is transfer, and then the least are imitation and condensation. So it's my data that is using the transfer strategy. So here in the data, should I come to you or go get the file, translate it into aku harus mendatangimu atau ambil berkasnya? It literally translated, so it is included as a transfer strategy. So like there is no addition or deletion on the translation in the target text. The next strategy that I found in my data is deletion strategy. It's in the source text you can see listen you can't keep coming here. In target text it translates into dengar kau tak boleh terus datang ke sini. In the source text, the word you can was repeated twice, but in the target text, it's only using the deletion strategy, but it still delivers the meaning of the sentence. The next is paraphrase strategy. In the source text, we see no, you're gonna have to get up. In the target text translated into tidak keluarlah dari mobil. The word you're gonna have to get out translated into keluarlah. It using paraphrase strategy, which means the structure of the subtitle in the source text change in the target text. Like the translator did not use the same syntactic rules in translating the target text. And also dari mobil is added in the target text, which it is using expansion strategy. It applied to gain the audience comprehension. Since in the movie, the setting when they authored this sentence is it took place in a car. And the next is imitation strategy. In the source text, there is a word, Elfrey. It is a name of a place in Montana, United States. So it's written again originally in the target text using imitation strategy. Last is condensation strategy. So what does that making him a prince translated into jadi dia adalah seorang pangeran. So here we can see that does that making him sentence translated into dia. So here we can see that the does that making him is condensed into dia. Although it's condensed, it still have the same idea as the source text. So the conclusion is subtitling strategies is needed in order to get a good translation in a movie. And out of 10 strategies translated by public, 5 strategies are found in the Certain Woman movie. The results are the transfer strategy found 13 data, which is 43%, and deletion strategy found 8 data, or 27%. Paraphrase strategy found 7 data, or 23%. Condensation strategy found 1 data, or 3%. Imitation strategy is also found 1 data, which is also 3%. So from those results, it draws conclusion that transfer is the most frequently used strategy in subtitling this movie, as the translator wants to maintain the originality of the source text and try to keep the literal meaning of the text as well by using the transfer strategy. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kezia, for the great presentation. Now we have 20 minutes for the question and answer session. For the judges, you may deliver your question yourself.
Okay, good morning, Kezia and Agatha. So I'm going to deliver my question. Um, for Kezia, who is the target of the research? And what do you think the significance of the research for the target? Thank you. Kezia, your mic is still on the mute mode.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? So my target research is for the burgeoning or beginner translators who are interested in Netflix's contents or translating Netflix's contents. Like I doing a research and I read articles that there are so many translators that are interested in to work and in as Netflix's translator, and Netflix themselves had to shut down their online subtitling and translation tests because there's too many audience that or applicants that join the test. And then I think the target is also to those who are interested in subtitling and considering subtitling as their job, especially looking for subtitling job in subtitling Netflix's contents. Does that answer your question?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julia Milkan. The other judges, you may deliver your question.
Okay, good morning, Kezia. I'm gonna deliver my question for you. In your opinion, why does transfer strategy become the most frequently used strategy in subtitling the movie?
I think that depends on the movie. In certain Roman movie, I also read an article in Literature Ebert. It said that certain woman is like a purposefully slow moving movie, so it's like a film that meant to be lit by the audience, and the audience can consider fully like after watch the movie. So, and the director himself, he wants to uh, shows that silence is also there's so much that can be said in silence. Therefore, there's so much internal monologue in his approach for this movie, and I think that is why there's no much utterances in the actresses, because most of the actresses are like they are like mute, and they have more internal monologue instead of saying it out loud, because usually in characters in movies we know that um, the characters are more expressive in the way what they were thinking, and in this movie they were more like put it in themselves, so they didn't like really saying it. So I think there are no much obstacles in subtitling this movie into the target language, because there are no exaggerating utterances or expressions or even nonsense or gibberish in the actors' utterances, since since the director itself wants to audience to want the audience to notice that every detail that are not straightforwardly shown in the movie. Um, he hopes that the audience can like have their own interpretation. So, and I think the translator also understand the cross culture in the target language, so he can like the translator can like translate it well into the target language.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Thank you, Ella, for the question. And then the last judges, Stefan. Is there any question? You can deliver your question.
So I would like to ask, according to your opinion, what are the obstacles in titling a movie?
Okay, from what I know, one of the obstacles is cultural elements, like it gives challenges to the subtitler, like there are different norms in two different countries. So when it comes to translating, the differences is rising up. For example, in America, we know that there's like this ritual like cheers, like clinking the glass, like toast. And I remember that I I found a translator translated toast into roti bakar instead of like cheers or bersulang. I think he didn't the translator didn't like understand the norms or the culture in the target in the source language. So I believe that the toast and cheering is like you clink the glass before drink and wishes uh, good wishes and expressing um, good wishes, and also it can be like giving honor to someone. And I think other the other obstacle that I know is like translating taboo words and swearing. Like that's the common obstacles that we know. Like for example, in the word bloody, and it often said like bloody hell. So it, the hell itself is also considered as taboo subject. So usually the translator like omitted those words. So because it then maybe it's inappropriate in the target language or in the target language culture, so it is omitted and deleted from the target language. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the judges. So in the next section, for the question from the audience, I would like to read the question from Angelina Harjono. I would like to ask about one of the data example on deletion strategy. You mentioned that a word in the sentence can also be considered using a paraphrase strategy. So, if there are two strategies applied, are we allowed to choose only one? And can you tell us the reason why you choose the specific strategy to classify in the sentence? The sentence is no, you're gonna have to get up.
Okay. I don't. To the engineering question, can you explain more to me?
Sorry, yes.
Yes, can you explain your question?
So I saw a slide. Well, I forgot what strategy that you explained, but in the sentence, no, you're gonna get out. You explained that one of the words can be considered using a paraphrase strategy, if I'm not wrong. Well, when I saw the slide.
Paraphrase. Yeah. Let me show you the slide.
Yeah, okay.
This one.
Ah, yes, that
Mhm.
one. There's paraphrase and expansion. So if there are two strategies that can be considered, can we choose only one? And can you explain the reason why you chose paraphrase to classify the dialogue?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think I choose paraphrase because first it it is very like it sounds very ambiguous if you translated the sentence. You're gonna have to get out uh, syntactically into the target text. So and if it's the sentence can be translated syntactically, it will be too long and it will be like not efficient. But instead of using the other strategy, the paraphrase strategy can like um, uh, show like the meaning of the whole sentence you're gonna have to get out. And I think it can it can use only one strategy, but um, uh, because but I think it also can be using two strategies as well, because since there are also word added in the target text to give more explanation of the situation in the movie, or like to give the audience more comprehension. So I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angeline. So, is there any question? Again, the audience. Wait. The other audience, if there is no question, we will move to next presenter. Thank you, Kezia, and all the judges and audience. Okay, the second presenter is Kenigo from Universitas Sanata Dharma. She will deliver translation technique in YouTube translation and the Indonesian dubbing of Beer's Burrito and Cupcakes series. Okay, Kenigo, the floor is yours.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will start the presentation. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say thank you to my undergraduate thesis advisor, Mr. Haris Setiajit, my beloved classmate, and all of the audience here. My name is Kenigo Putri, and today I will present a topic entitled Translation Technique in YouTube's Translation and the Indonesian Dubbing of We Bear Bears, Burrito dan Cupcake series. Let's move on to the introduction. Cartoons are one of the things that can accompany someone's childhood. Even adults are still watching cartoons. As the technology develops, we can easily access video, for example, on YouTube. On YouTube, there is a tool called YouTube's auto-generated translation that can make the foreign audience can enjoy the video as well. But the subtitle can give the audience inconvenience since it is a machine translators, which automatically translated by using software. Besides being a human translators, it is not also easy because they need to translate not only the word, but also culture and fidelity and so on. Thus, this study will analyze the technique applied that, on both human translator and machine translators. My research question is, what techniques are applied in the YouTube's Indonesia auto-generated translation and the Indonesian dubbing version of We Bear Bears, Burrito dan Cupcake series? And the objective of the study is to analyze the technique applied in my object of research. So the methodology. First is areas of research. Since my analysis is about subtitling and dubbing, this analysis falls into multimedia translation. And the object of the study is the technique found in We Bear Bears, Burrito dan Cupcake series. My method of study is library research as well as quantitative and qualitative method. My data collection is, first, I watch the both version, dubbing and subtitling one, then transcribing the dialogue, and also copy-paste the subtitle on YouTube auto-generated translation. And the last is I categorize the technique. Here is the theory that I use for this research. It is a theory by Michael Garkars about audiovisual translation technique. There are 7 techniques that I will explain further. First is omission. Omission is divided into 2 parts, which are complete omission and partial omission. Complete omission is used when there is no adequate colloquial expression, and if the translator found unnecessary repetition, they can use this technique. And also if there is gestures that already convey the meaning of the dialogue, they can omit it too. For example, in the source text Mickey, here, and only translated into Mickey di sini. Following by hand waving. It is considered as complete omission because there is gestures that already convey the meaning of here. And next is partial omission. Partial omission techniques omit not the whole parts of the text, and the results will be in colloquial expressions. For your information, colloquial means daily life language that we use. For example, there is a word shotgun and translated into aku yang di kursi depan, because in Indonesia we have not specific term for shotgun. Next is functional equivalence and the closest synonym. Functional equivalence, this technique is used to find an equivalent as similar as possible effect to the target language, and it is not necessarily similar in linguistic function. And the translator needs to know both culture of source language and target language. The example is, I'm sick of it translated into aku muak. The closest synonym, this is the technique when there is a lack of precise semantic equivalence. And the result looks like the expression of the original ones. And it is as similar as possible function in target language. For example, no need to be salty, Karen, and translated into, salty is translated into baper in Indonesia. Next is description and literal translation. we use the description technique. If the word in the source text needs to be explained more in the target text. For example, I love gudeg, saya suka gudeg, makanan khas dari Yogyakarta. And literal translation is word by word translation. For example, he eats orange, dia makan jeruk. Next is neologization. Neologization is divided into three parts. First, lexical neologisms. Second, phraseological neologisms. And the third is calculus and borrowing. First is lexical neologisms. Translator use this technique to create a single new word without using omission technique. For example, ew, so tacky. We have the term kamseupai that is created and become the part of our daily life. And next is phraseological neologisms. If lexical neologisms allows the translator create single word in phraseological neologisms, the translator will create new phrases and without using omission technique. For example, man, you've never been in a relationship since birth, and is translated into jomblo ngenes. Calculus and borrowing. Calculus means translating the phrases. For example, skyscraper is translated into pencakar langit. And borrowing means adopt the word and use the term in target language. For example, I want to eat ramen and translate it into aku mau makan ramen. The last is enrichment. Enrichment is used to in the need of audience emotion by adding several elements. For example, like their emotion is aroused when they watch the certain movie. For example, bunch of men over there is translated into preman-preman yang di sana. This is my analysis on We Bear Bears, Burrito dan Cupcake. First is omission. In the subtitle part, you can see that the word you is omitted in the first target text. It is partial omission because we can still know the meaning for this sentence. Thus, it falls into partial omission. And dubbing is what the heck little bro is translated into ada apa teman. In Indonesia, there is no term to replace what the heck and also little bro. So it is translated into ada apa teman. Next is functional equivalence. The word gentleman in subtitle is translated into sekalian. It is not literally translated as tuan-tuan, but it is translated into sekalian. In the dubbing one, the word gentleman is translated into semua. It is the same as the subtitle part. The analysis of the clauses synonym in the subtitle part, the word tell is translated into ceritakan. Actually, it is not wrong, but the word ceritakan is not suitable for the situational context. In this case, one of the bears wants to know the challenge that the cafe had, and it is translated into ceritakan, and it is not suitable for the context. And the dubbing one is beritahu. Beritahu is more suitable for the bears that want to know the challenge that they had. Analysis on literal translation. In the subtitle part, oh that's cute is translated, oh itu lucu. And the dubbing part, okay ready start is literally translated into baiklah siap mulai. Next is neologization. In the subtitle part, it borrows the word fajita steak burrito is translated into burrito steak fajita. And the dubbing one is calcu because vanilla swirl is translated into putaran vanilla. In Indonesia, there is no specific term to replace the word swirl, especially on food's name or in the menu. And next is the analysis of enrichment. For example, in the subtitle part, I haven't found yet, and the dubbing one, you got 4 people there, is translated into kalian ada berempat, and it is more natural to be read. And yeah, since my analysis is still tentative, so thus the conclusion is temporary. The most technique applied in the subtitle is the closest synonym, while the dubbing is enrichment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kenigo Putri. So next is question from the judges. Judges, you may deliver your question.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
So I want to ask, on your analysis, I still like need more enlightenment about who is the target of the research and what do you think the significance of the research for the target, especially other than translator? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think the target of this research is everybody that enjoy watching YouTube, especially if they turn on the generated translation. And I think this research is also enrich the study of translation field, especially on analyzing error analysis and in audiovisual translation studies. And the significance of this research, I think they can know what techniques applied in those errors that appears in YouTube's auto-generated translation. I think that is the answer.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Yulia, for the question. Next, judges.
Okay, Kenny, I would like to deliver my question. I saw your paper before and you say that in the closest synonym, the machine translator automatically translates the word without knowing the context. But without knowing the context, the translation can be considered as true. Why does it considered as true?
In wait. Oh, okay. I think the conclusion is based on my analysis that the word ceritakan, I think, is not suitable for the situational context. If you watch the video, you can see that the case is about the one of the bears wants to know what is the cafe's challenge, and the word ceritakan is not actually wrong, but it is not suitable for the situational context. The word ceritakan, I think, is more suitable when we want to know like story, problems, not for the challenge that the cafe had. I think that is the answer.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you, Ella. So the next judges, you may deliver your questions.
Okay. You, visual translation actually is new for me. So I would like to ask what file that audiovisual translation can be applied and why?
I think we can apply this technique on every audiovisual translation like voiceover or in the advertisement or in the television as long as it is included as long it is a part of AVT studies or audiovisual translation studies, because it shares the same function. The function is part in AVT. I think that is the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all the judges for the question. So the next is question from the audience. First of all, I will read the question from Sir Harris. Why the object of the comparison is not the same? I mean, what you compare is not the same data.
Because since since it is a tentative analysis and the data is I think because this is a temporary analysis, thus I haven't finished yet the analysis, sir. Sometimes I confuse to answer what on this dialogue, what is the technique. So I only show the ones that I have already analyzed. Thus it can make another example for the audience to know the technique applied is this one, like that.
Okay. Okay, Sir Harris. Thank you, Sir Harris, for the questions. So the other audience, is there any question for Kenigo? Okay, if there is no question, we will move to the next presenter. Thank you, Kenigo, for the best present. Okay, the next presenter is Ilham from Universitas Agatha Dharma. He will deliver translation strategies in Captain Salazar utterance in Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales movie subtitle. Okay, Ilham, the floor is yours.
Ilham, you need to unmute your mic first.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
So, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Ilham Rifky, and now I would like to present to you my presentation about translation strategies in Captain Salazar's Utterance in Pirates of the Caribbean, that mental notice movie subtitle. So, first off, I would like to talk about language first. So, language, according to Walia, is the most complete and effective way to convey ideas, messages, intentions, feelings, and opinions to others. And language was created to connect one people with another. However, the existence of many countries in the world causes language to vary, which causes the message distribution internationally to be difficult due to the existence called language gap. Therefore, to overcome this problem called language gap, we need a tool called translation to ease the process. So Catford defines translation as replacement of textual material in one language by equivalent textual materials in another language. And in film industry, translators need to make the movies enjoyable internationally based on the audience cultural aspect, since their aim to make the audience understand what the movie is about, and also to give them the flavor of the cultural context of the source language from the movie. And in film industry, translators also need to have the knowledge of subtitling strategies in order to achieve that aim. And then my research question related to the research is, what are the translation strategies applied by Lebajlek in translating Captain Salazar's utterances in the film Pirates of the Caribbean that men tell no tales? And the objective of the study is to analyze the translation strategies applied in Lebajlek's Indonesian fan subtitle in translating Captain Salazar's utterances in the film Pirates of the Caribbean that men tell no tales. In answering the research question, I use two theories. The first one is Gottlieb's theory of subtitling strategies. Gottlieb stated that subtitle translation is different from any other kinds of translation since it has its own limitation, especially in space. And therefore, in order to maintain the quality of specific subtitle, he proposed 10 types of subtitle strategies, which are expansion, paraphrase, transfer, imitation, transcription, dislocation, condensation, decimation, deletion, and resignation, which each, each of these strategies will be explained as follows. So the first one is expansion strategies. So expansion strategy is used when the original text requires an additional explanation for the cultural nuance not retrievable in the TT. It means that there's no added explanation or modifying of view because the use of this strategy also maintain the structure of the original text. And then paraphrase. This strategy is resorted to in cases where the phraseology of the original cannot be reconstructed in the same syntactic way in target language. So the utterance in paraphrase strategy must be made into another another form of the word. And then we move to the transfer strategy. So this strategy refers to the strategy of translating the ST completely and accurately. And then the imitation. This strategy maintains the same forms, typically with names of people, things, and places, and title of a books, etc. And then we move to the transcription. It is used in those cases where the ST has an unusual term inside of it, such as the use of third language or nonsense language in the ST, the source tag. And then dislocation. It is used by when the ST employs some sort of special effect. What is meant by special effect are any kinds of fabricated sound and onomatopoeia. And then condensation. It is a shortening of the ST in the least obtrusive way possible. And then deletion is the total elimination of parts of a text. And the next one is decimation, which is an extreme form of condensation, where perhaps for reasons of discourse speed, even potentially important elements are omitted. And the last strategy is resignation, which is used when there is no translation solution can be found and meaning is inevitably lost. And the second theory that I applied is Nababan's theory of readability and acceptability. Nababan created tools to assess the readability and acceptability called translation readability assessment and translation acceptability assessment. And it was created based on this. A translated text will be readable if the translation can be easily understood by the target audiences from the level of words, technical terms, phrases, clauses, to, to sentences. And a translated text also will be acceptable if the translation is in accordance with the rules, norms, and cultures applied in the target language. Even though a translation is already accurate in the form of from the level of words, technical terms, phrase, clause, sentences, it can still be rejected if not complying with the target language rules, norms, and cultures. And then we move to the methodology. So my research method is qualitative research applying library methods. So qualitative is a kind of research in which the results are captured in words, images, or non-numeric symbols. It is used since the data for the study is in the form of subtitle, and the library methods is used since the data there is it's not library method but explicatory method. See, since the study aims to examine the use of translation strategies in the film subtitle and its relevance for the target audience. And the types of data is an objective data, which is Captain Salazar's utterance in the movie subtitle. And the data collection. Data collection is going through 3 steps. The first one is collecting all the data related to Captain Salazar's utterances while watching the movie simultaneously in both English and Indonesian version. And then after collecting all the data, the researcher insert the data in similar table but in the respective column. And the last step is analyzing all the data that are gathered from the movie subtitle. And this is how the data are coded. And I will explain to you how it is read. 6 is number of the page, and ST means the source tag. POC is the title of the movie, which is Pirates of the Caribbean. CS means Captain Salazar, and the 5th point is the timestamp. And now we move to the analysis of strategies used in Bahasa Indonesian fan subtitle. The first strategy that I found in the subtitle of the movie is a transfer and deletion strategies in similar returns. It can be seen on this datum number 6. The transfer strategy can be seen on the word that I have already painted it in orange. the triangle has cursed us, which was translated into segitiga ini telah mengutuk kami. As it can be seen that there is no change of structure in both from both source tag and target tags. And to make it understandable, I already divided into three parts SPO. The triangle is the subject of the sentence, has cursed is the predicate, and us is the object of the sentence. And it can be seen that from beginning to finish, the structure remains the same, and the translator able to maintain the original meaning of the source tag, even though it was translated literally. And can be seen also that it is can be considered as readable, since the diction that translator is uses a daily words in Indonesian version. And then the deletion part in similar utterances can be seen on the phrases for too many years, which was translated into selama bertahun-tahun. So the word too many in the source tag was omitted in the target text. It is because the word too many, which literally means terlalu banyak, was function as a pluralizer for the word years, while the word years itself is already in a plural form. So there's two plural forms inside one phrases. So one must be omitted, which was the word too many. And the omission of the word too many does not affect the original meaning of the source tag. And it can still relevant for the target audience, since by translating only for years, it covers the whole meaning of the word for too many years. And then the use of imitation strategy. It can be seen on the utterance number 48 and 83. Nothing to stop the silent Mary and Jack Sparrow, which respectively translated into tak ada yang bisa menghentikan silent Mary and Jack Sparrow. And the word silent Mary and Jack Sparrow from the source tag was kept not translated in the target text. The reason why the translator used this did not translate it into target text is because Silent Mary and Jack Sparrow is considered as a name, and based on imitation strategy, names of places, names of things, names of places, name of person, name of things, and name of places, or subtitle, or a title of a book, and etc., is able to not be translated in the target text to remain the originality of the source tag. And then we move to the use of expansion strategy. It can be seen on the utterance number 75, Jack the Sparrow, which was translated into Jack si burung gereja, sparrow, and the translator was translated the word sparrow into burung gereja, but also maintained the original word in the TT, which is the word sparrow inside the parentheses. The reason why the translator maintained the original word in the TT is because for some people in the target text, some of the may already have known the what kind of a bird is burung gereja, but maybe they do not know that sparrow is literally means burung gereja in Indonesian. So he wants to give slight information about the word sparrow for the target audiences. And then the use of transcription strategy, it can be seen on the datum number 26. So let me show you what my cordiality is hombre. This was translated into biar kutunjukkan bagaimana keramah tamahanku kawan. The word hombre in the source tag was a Spanish word, which was unusual term in the ST based on the transcription strategy. And the Spanish word hombre means man or friend in English, and also means kawan in Indonesian. And the reason why the translator translate hombre directly into kawan is that to give slight understanding about the meaning of the Spanish word for the target audiences. And then the last strategy that I found in the analysis is the use of paraphrase strategy. Can be seen on the datum number 65. Knowing that I would run my knife along his neck, which was translated into karena dia tahu aku akan menyembelihnya. The idiom run my knife along his neck was translated into menyembelihnya, and the word menyembelihnya comes from the word menyembelih or sembelih in Indonesian. In Indonesian comprehensive dictionary, menyembelih means slitting the neck of an animal, etc., especially sacrificial animal, which most of the Muslim people do in Idul Adha. And the translator, based on this example, was able to deliver Captain Salazar's intention to the target audience in one word. So the source tag was changes from the level of idioms in 2 words, and can be seen that the translation is relevant for the target audience since the word menyembelihnya is already sufficient to cover the whole meaning of run my knife along his neck without translating it literally, because by translating it literally, it will be not acceptable for the target audience, and it's also feel weird too. And then since this research use tentative data, the data is still temporary. So the strategies that I found in parts of the Caribbean that mental hotels consists of transfer, deletion, imitation, expansion, transcription, and paraphrase. And translator use such strategies was used by the translator because since his aim is to maintain the originality of the text and to create brief and easy to read subtitle for the target audience based on their culture, since they're to make them understand what the movie is about and to make them get the flavor of the cultural context of the source language. And I think that's all from me, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ilham. So the next is the judges can display their question to Ilham.
Okay, hi Ilham.
Hi.
So I want to ask, according to your analysis, how readable do you think the translation of the subject?
So, can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, the Indonesian subtitle, the Bajelek's Indonesian subtitle is quite readable for the target audience because he is able to translate the idioms, phrases, and sentences in accordance with the rules and norms and cultures of the source text. And well, even though there's one or two utterances which has different meaning with the original, and the translator also does not use any confusing diction in every utterance and use only daily language, and it makes the subtitle acceptable for the target audience. And I think that's my question.
Okay, Ilham,
I
thank
answer.
you.
Thank you, Milka, for the question. So the next judges.
Okay, Ilham, I'm gonna deliver my question. I read your paper and I saw that you have an idiom data. In your opinion, why does paraphrase strategy used to translate idiom? Can we translate it in literal way or we have to see the context first?
In well, thank you for the question. And in my opinion, paraphrase is just one of the strategies to translate idioms. We can use transfer or deletion as well, but we need to pay attention also to the context of the idioms first, because the the strategies that we have to use depends on the context. If the idiom sounds strange when it is translated literally, then it means that it cannot use transfer strategies, and we have to use another strategies, which is paraphrase. Well, if the idioms can be translated literally, then we can translate it literally. For example, do you know the idiom "a frog in a shell"? It was translated literally ya, into kata dalam tempurung, and and it and it is accepted by the target audience. And I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Ella, for the question. So the last judges can deliver his question.
So I would like to ask, what are the differences between subtitling and written text?
Thank you for the question. So, according to my understanding, in written text translation, the uh, target text readers or the receivers does not compare the translated text with the source text. While in a subtitle, the comparison happens automatically. And in written text translation also has more space and explanations and footnotes and etc. While in subtitle itself, uh, extended message needs to be condensed since it has limited space to present all the source text messages. And then written text translation, also called intertextual translation, which happens from written text to other written text. But subtitling is a translation from spoken to spoken language into word for word or into written text. And I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for all the judges. So the next section is question from the audience. Is there any question from the audience?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Rosemary Kasauli. I would like to ask your opinion. How important how important is it for a translator to change the name of the character? In your opinion, did the translator make the right choice by translating Jack Sparrow into Jack Burung Gereja, considering that this movie is based on Disney, right? So
Yes.
the name is already attached to the character, and I think even if the target audience don't know the real meaning of sparrow, it doesn't really matter because the name sparrow itself does not refer to the bird per se, but for Captain Jack's experience in the Devil's Triangle with Captain Salazar. So yeah, what's your take on that?
So the point is what my opinions about why the translator uses translate the word Jack Sparrow into Jack si burung gagak. Is that right? Oh, okay. So my opinions about why wait. So my opinion about the translator's decision for translating Jack the Sparrow into Jack si burung gereja is to well to make the audience know that Jack Jack Sparrow gets the name word Jack Jack the Sparrow. Why the Jack Sparrow gets his meaning is because he what is it? He gets a meaning by he gets his name because he in the movie when he was being chased by Captain Salazar, the Jack Sparrow is in a place where he was in a place called Crow's Nest. Crow's Nest is a place above the above the sail of a ship, which is used to scout the surroundings of the ship. So and then the Captain Salazar thus called him as the Sparrow is because he just standing there like by watching like a sparrow does. I think that's my answer.
So you think the translator's choice is wise?
Yes, because he wants to give slight understanding about the word burung geja, which literally refers to the Jack Sparrow's personality.
Okay,
I think like
thank
that.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Rosemary, for the question. The other audience can show the other question to Ilham. There is any question from the other audience? Okay, because there is no more question. Thank you, Ilham, for the presentation. So I will just give a little reminder for those audience and judges. So don't forget submit the grading and peer grading at Belajar for today's conference. Okay, this is the end for today's conference. Once again, thank you for all the marvelous presenters and the participants in joining this conference. We will meet again in the next week conference. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Membuatmu jatuh hati kepadaku, telah kutuliskan sejuta puisi, meyakinkanmu membalas cintaku. Haruskah ku mati karenamu, terkubur dalam kesedihan sepanjang waktu? Haruskah ku relakan hidupku hanya demi cinta yang mungkin bisa membunuhku? Hentikan denyut nadi jantungku, tanpa kau tahu betapa suci hatiku untuk memilikimu. Adakah keikhlasan dalam palung jiwa?